What's up, guys? Today we have a 64 F100 that we're going to be doing a bunch of rust repair on. Typically don't do rust repair per se. I consider this more metal work, metal repair, rather than just patching things up. This is just basically a special case because it's a really nice F100, especially the slicks. Those are our favorite, so can't say no to this. And if the customer is willing to invest in doing it right, then we're gonna handle it. So really quick, just kind of show you the truck. Really awesome 64. Paint still in really good shape. Nice patina. Guys from the Keys, actually. So this thing gets beat up. You know, the salt air is definitely eating it up. But originally from Kansas. I believe it was purchased from Street Machinery, so shout out to Boris from Street Machinery. And yeah, just kind of go over this thing. So it's got a few spots. Got the tail cap rust there, the bed. Look at that freaking sweet tailgate. That thing's yummy. Little doinked up on the side here. We may or may not be able to get some of that out with some elaborate metal working. I'm not sure if that's something we're going to get into right now, but definitely something to consider in the future. Also, this back panel, considering replacing that, and then part of the bed floor. The rest of it looks pretty good. I think a lot of it's salvageable. The roof's really nice. Usually it rots out in the drip rail. It's super nice up here. Overall, the truck is in really good condition. The worst part are some of the parts underneath here on the bottom. That cab corner is completely gone. And we'll put it up in the air and show you the insides. The insides rotted out pretty bad as well. But this side's not too bad. The floors are decent as well. Nothing too major to worry about there. Again, patina truck, all original, so it's beat up. It's got some dings and dents, but for what it is, really good condition. That cab corner is starting to go. And then that inner door part's gone as well. So we're kind of going to do this piece by piece. Try not to blow this thing apart and turn it into a major project. Just kind of do one section at a time and just trying to save the truck. The guy loves the truck. Straight 6.3 on the tree, runs really good. Nice little Keys cruiser. He's not blasting down no highways or anything, just kind of cruising. All this stuff is from Carolina Classics. They seem to be the place for slick side parts. They do have other makes and models as well, but primarily they seem to have every piece for a slick, especially a 64. So we got floorboards for it. We got the inner door parts, outer cab corners, inner cab corners, and then cab bracing as well. So one-stop shop, they got everything. We're gonna try to find a floorboard, which is funny that they don't make a bed floor. Carolina Classics, start making a bed floor. Just to be convenient, order everything at once. I'm sure we'll find someone that has a bed floor, but so we're not necessarily going to be replacing every little piece here. We got everything in case we need it. I know welding up those braces, some parts of the floor are eaten up, so we may need to take some parts and pieces. We're trying not to blow the entire truck apart and turn into this major project. We're just trying to address things as needed. Obviously, the best #1 way to do it is to do that, but you're pretty much restoring the entire thing at that point. So, all right, so this is the worst of it. A lot of this stuff here is flat metal, so we should be able to get a lot of this out and just replace it with some flat piece. Cab corner, inner, obviously outer is gone. So that's the worst of it. This one's starting to go. So we're gonna address the cab corners first and probably this bracing. And I mean, this one's starting to go too. We'll probably end up doing those as well. But primarily, we're gonna start with the cab corners. We're actually gonna pull the bed off so we have some more access to this back here. So the bed doesn't look too crusty. Still got some hardware. That's good. We'll see how that comes out. Might need to heat it up. 4 sets of hardware here for the bracing. That should pop out. We have a bed cart that we had made for pretty much for these trucks. That was on the other F100 project. This exhaust is pretty cool. It's a dual exhaust. Yeah, it's like it's a 6-cylinder, but it's split up into a dual exhaust. It sounds really good, so it works well. Nice classic thrush muffler. Those are awesome. I am a fan of those actually for like that, for that nice old school feel. But anyway, let's talk more rock. Let's get to work. All right, so definitely had to reposition this a little bit, considering a lot of the weight out of the back was removed. Threw a strap on there for some extra reinforcement, just to keep it on the lift nice and tight. Obviously, you don't need a lift to do this, but if you have one, might as well use it. So you can see how bad this is. So our next step is going to be cutting into this. We'll probably just start low, and just to see how bad all this really is, just start chopping it away and see how far we need to go. Those panels come up pretty high, so we should be in good shape with them. But like I said, start cutting into it and see what we got going on. Let's do it. Alrighty, got the other inner cab corner cut out. I did notice one thing. They conveniently, it looks like the size of this cab corner seems to be the size that it needs to be on purpose in order for you to access all the spot welds up here. I try to cut it as a little bit lower just so we're not cutting so much away, but in order to access all these holes up here, this really does need to be this size and really does need to be cut out here. And I didn't really want to mess with any kind of shapes or anything, so we'll just go ahead and replace, you know, as needed. Obviously there's only a little spot down here, but in order to access the back cab corner and all these little pieces, then the majority of it has to be cut out. So nice little pro tip. So the passenger side, actually, this entire piece was completely gone. It didn't even exist. It was completely rotted out and disintegrated and vanished in thin air. This side, fortunately, still had some of it, and they don't make this replacement part, so we're actually gonna try to make our own version of it. Just a little something to connect the cab corner all together. Fortunately, we have this side to make a template, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to template one out and make one for the other side. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it looks good. Oh yeah, that looks really good. I'm happy with that. That fit in there nice. That's got to get pushed up a little more. Yeah, get it nice and even. Just gotta make that piece of rough around here, and that'll give the cab corner something to weld to. And let that piece go all the way around. Super. All right, so picked up a few materials here. So first thing, we got some OSPO, which works really well for getting a lot of this rust out. So it should be able to get a lot of this stuff. Obviously it's stuff that we can't get into with the wire brush. So we're gonna use a chemical to get all this out. I'm gonna cut a little bit more of this out to make it a little bit nicer. But I'm basically gonna spray it all up in here in order to get rid of a lot of that rust and get it to a good painted surface. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna seal it with this awesome 415. So this is also supposed to work really well, just to be able to seal up that rust. We're obviously gonna fix the outside layer, but a lot of the stuff comes from the inside out. So just to get that to seal really nice, we're gonna get a lot of that stuff in there. And then for our parts, like obviously this is all raw, we're gonna do an epoxy. So we have some epoxy materials here. It's an epoxy primer is what it's gonna be. So we picked up some of that stuff here. And then for the areas that we're gonna weld, we actually got some weld through primer. So we're gonna tape off some areas that aren't gonna be welded. We'll probably do a few spot welds here. So we'll probably make some marks here, and then we'll epoxy it. We'll put our weld through primer in those areas and go to town and just try to do this right. All right. That 415 did really good. I left it in, let it pour in there, get it all sealed up nice. I threw some weld primer on a few spots over here. So we got some pieces we got epoxied, and we went ahead and did some weld primer on the edges. We got the super awesome piece that we had to hand fabricate. What's left of the rusty part that we hand fabricated. Let's put all this stuff together. We got all this fitted up pretty good, welded in. Got our spot welds all up in there. So we got the inner cap corner welded in. Made our little side plate here. We did find some rust on this little lower part. There was a bunch of holes and stuff, so we just went ahead and added a little piece in here and just kind of used some silicon bronze to get the shape back kind of where we want it. So figure while we were there, just did a little bit extra just to make sure, because this way we can seal it from the backside. You know, it wasn't super major. I mean, there was some holes there, and even if you were to fix it in the future, there really wasn't a good way to seal it from the back. I mean, you could have done a weld through primer on the piece that you replaced, but now is just a really good opportunity to go ahead and seal it. So we're going to go ahead and pour 15 that in there. We'll just get a brush and we'll get it all up in these little crevices. That way that seals up really nice, and should be good to go. And then we'll get this outer cap corner fitted and welded. All right guys, so we got the cap corners all wrapped up. We got them body worked and primed up, all ready for paint match. Got the inside all done up too. Came out really good. Just getting ready for some touch-up paint. Here we have the other side all dialed in as well. The center piece wasn't as bad as the other one, so we left it. Everything was good there. But Larry's been plugging away on this. This had a big old rust hole in it, so that's all cut out. Everything's all sealed up inside real nice. We're just getting that finalized. We did make a new piece here. This was all crusted, so we made a whole new piece on the inside as well. That way when we do the cab brace that's completely gone, it'll have something to attach to. We'll be done with that here shortly, and then the floor's actually not in terrible shape, actually still pretty good. So we're gonna keep the floor, but we're just gonna replace some pieces here. So we'll just do a small section in here to replace that. And I think that's the worst of it. The rest of the floor is still pretty solid, still has enough meat in order to be able to weld onto. That's it for now. Let's get back to it. All right, so started getting into the cab corner brace here. You can see how rotted out this thing was. See all the crust that came out of it. There's our star player. Yeah, not too shabby. Just drill out the spot welds here and that thing comes right out. And here's our new piece. Got it all sealed up in epoxy. We'll get that sucker fitted back in there. She'll be brand new. Man, I love this truck. So guys, just wanted to give you a quick update. We finished all the rust repair on this. Unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties and we had some footage get lost. So we didn't get a lot of the final nitty gritty of all of it, but figured I'd just give you a little wrap up and just go over what we did. The cab corners, got those really nice. And then the customer actually came and painted it himself, color matched it. I think he did a really good job. You can't even tell. So we got those done. We got that piece we had to hand fabricate. We got the front pieces done. Those came out really awesome. We did the floor on this side because that floor ended up being completely gone. We did the braces underneath. You can see those are new as well on both sides. Pretty much did all 4 corners of the bracing, cab corner, all that. I think the color match came out really good. And those lower pillars came out awesome as well. And then we also did the bed. Customer didn't have an opportunity to come up in time to get the bed done, but we're just gonna deliver it as is, and he's gonna pull the bed off and he'll handle that himself. But we did end up doing the bed. Now, nobody makes patch panels for slick beds, unfortunately. Shout out to our buddy Joey at Evolutionary Rides. He hooked us up with a donor piece, so that maybe 6-inch section was cut out from another slick bed, and we were able to weld that in. This header panel is new. The brace going underneath is new. We patched that up. We just did some flat sheet metal here, and again, this will get color matched just like you did over there. And if you haven't noticed, I had to give it a little bit of Hutch touch, and I angle cut those exhaust tips just to get a little flare. Just quick little wrap up on this truck. We're gonna deliver it. We got Solomon's Beach Bonanza coming on next week, and the customer actually lives in the Keys, so it's a good opportunity just to drop it off and have it for the show, if that's what he's gonna bring, because he has a couple. He's an F100 enthusiast, just like all of us. Hope you guys enjoy. Hope you learned something. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel to stay up to the latest and greatest of what we got going on at Hutch's Welding. And, you know, like, share, most importantly, share with your friends, share with family, and comment. Let's chat. Anyway, let's talk more rock. Bye.